everyone, my name is Miranda and today I am here to give my wrap-up / review / thoughts on all that was Skam Season 4. Season 4 and Skam itself has been over for almost 2 weeks now, and I don't know, it's weird because I don't feel super sad. I think it's not denial necessarily, but it doesn't really feel like it's over because people are still drawing fan art, people are still writing fan fiction, the Instagram accounts that I follow are still posting. So it's not, it's not like just because it ended, all of a sudden everything stopped. It's like, no, the fandom is still there and the people who love it are still giving us new stuff to love. So I really do appreciate that, but overall, Season 4, let's talk about it. There's a table here, I'm not just awkwardly hunching forward. I feel like there are a lot of mixed feelings about Season 4, and I will be honest that going into Season 4 I wasn't super excited about having a Sana season, just because I was definitely more invested in Isaac and Evan. They were the first season I watched, they were the couple that I rooted for, so like knowing that there was a chance that Evan was going to be the main, even though it was a pretty small chance, I think I like held on to that. And then when it was confirmed that it was probably going to be Sana, I was like, but then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh dang, this looks like it's going to go down. So I was really, really excited for Season 4, especially because I felt it was going to be really timely with everything that's been going on in the world and how Sana deals with kind of balancing that and prejudice that she faces and also being Muslim and having and keeping her faith. So I was very intrigued in that whole idea because I think it's something that a lot of people have to deal with and a big chunk of the population have to deal with, but it's something that also doesn't get discussed a lot. Muslim characters are often stereotyped or marginalized, or we just flat out don't see them in especially roles like this where they're the leads, they're complex, their stories are drawn out, and they're more than just one thing. That's what I was super, super excited for to see, and the first episode, I will say, had me very excited because we saw, and I mentioned it in my reaction video, this woman when Sana was sitting on the train, or the bus, whatever it was, and the woman was just looking at her funny simply because she was Muslim. And that got me real excited because I feel like that's the things that people don't understand necessarily unless you go through that yourself, is just how there's like, we think of overt racism or overt, just being a dick to people where you're yelling, you're screaming, you're saying you hate them, but then there's also subtle racism that people have to deal with when it's necessarily like, even if you talk to the person that's doing it, they won't say they're racist. They won't say that there's they have anything wrong with insert group here, but their actions say something different. And it's not like it's super like heavy actions, like they're not out protesting or anything, but I think you see it in that example of how she just kind of looked at Sana funny in like, I need to keep an eye on this girl because she's Muslim, not knowing anything else about her. So that had me super excited. Unfortunately, it didn't really go much farther in the season. I think it could have been explored a lot more. We took it down a notch to focusing on Sarah and Sana, and even Sarah and Sana I feel like could have been done better, because I think a lot of people, what they thought was going to happen was that Sarah was then going to turn on Isaac and make an Isaac account, and then, or it would come back to Evan, which I think was really cool because all season we had kind of been waiting for this Sana and Evan reunion, I guess, because like they knew each other, but at the same time, what Evan had gone through a year ago and kind of losing his friends and being on his own, that was very similar to what Sana was going through at the endish of Season 4 when she was kind of out from all her friends, they had the falling out and all that. So that would have been great for them to talk about that, and I think that's what we were all hoping for. And I think overall, that's just the biggest issue I had with Season 4, was that I would go on Tumblr, I would go on Twitter, and I'd see all these theories for what's going to happen and all these like evidence for it, like, oh, this parallel is setting up this, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I would watch the actual episode, and what actually happened was not as entertaining or interesting as those fan theories. And I think that, I mean, it makes sense, that like obviously like you don't want it to be predictable, but at the same time I think what works so well in previous seasons where they kind of write the scripts not last minute, but like they kind of listen to what people are saying first. I think from the get-go, no one really, like there wasn't anything people really ran with aside from Sana. Like it was more just kind of like, okay, we're waiting for something. And then I think it got to the point where the writers just all of a sudden were like, okay, we gotta start this, we gotta start this, like something is gonna stick and people are really gonna root for it. And then it got to the almost end of the season basically and nothing really had stuck yet. I think there was a lot of backlash against Nora that they were surprised about, so then they were like, okay, we've gotta make Nora like a better character, you know, kind of show people that she's not horrible, because I do think she's one of Julie's favorite characters. I mean, she modeled her after herself, so obviously like she doesn't want people to hate on Nora, so I feel like that was a lot of like all of a sudden Nora got more time. And then I know because of the popularity this season, leaks were getting out and things had to be changed and adapted and kind of shot differently because they didn't want anything spoiled, like the fight between the boy squad and the balloon squad, that was spoiled. So, I mean, overall it's just, it wasn't my favorite. I think it was very discombobulated, but when you get down to it, there was a good idea at the core. I feel like there were some moments that really, really hit it, but I don't know if it's just because it was the last season or if they were just truly like getting tired or something, but it just felt like there was just this kind of central message that connected all the other seasons, you know, like that wasn't there for Sana's season. I feel like it was very discombobulated, and what bugged me the most, I feel like, is that Ava, Nora, and Isaac, when they were all mains, I feel like their story could only happen to them. Like, it was very sensitive and important, and like this wouldn't happen if we just slotted random A character in here. With Sana, when you take away her faith and all her problems and issues with kind of trying to adjust herself to new generation, old generation, faithless versus faithful, like her whole thing with Sarah, to me, that could have been any character. It could easily been Ava, definitely. It could have been Vilda. I mean, it's just, it wasn't anything that I felt like needed to happen specifically towards Sana, whereas I felt the other mains, their stories had to happen towards them. So that was disappointing. And then we need to talk about Sana and Yusuf, because I friggin' love them, but when you get down to it, they're actually like the couple that had the least amount of interaction together. Because I remember getting like episode 8, and I was like, geez, they're still not like even like together. And I completely understand that, like, because of the actress who plays Sana, she didn't want to kiss anyone. I get that, totally respectful of that, but I think you can still make relationships intimate without kissing and holding hands and hugging and all that. And I think we saw that with their scenes at the basketball courts when they're cutting carrots. Like, it still felt intimate, it still felt cute, they just weren't making out, and that's perfectly fine. So I think in a perfect world it should have been her dilemma in dating and liking Yusuf, even though he's not Muslim, would have carried out more throughout the season, instead of it just seemed to like randomly come back and then all of a sudden she's fine with it and then she's like, wait, no, I can't do this. And like, I just wish she could have had like a conversation with Jamala or something like she did with her brother that kind of really cemented like, hey, you know what, it might be okay, like give him a shot. And also the fact that he wasn't in the last episode bugged the crap out of me, because I'm not saying that like Sana needs Yusuf. I'm not saying any of these mains need their significant others, but it's cute, it's a story. And especially since this was the last episode of Skam ever and people really liked Yusuf, not having him in the last episode kind of felt like disrespectful almost. I don't know, like it just felt like, okay, it can still be about Sana and we love Sana, but Yusuf can still be there. Like, he's a part of who she is, just like her friends are, just like Isaac and Evan is. I don't find it disrespectful when they're in it, so why can't he be in it? So overall, I think I was disappointed, yes, but I'm still so glad that Sana got a season. She, for me, is the best part of this season, just seeing her interact and seeing her grow and seeing her kind of realize what she wants to be and who she is and accepting that. And I think that was really, really great. So I don't know, it sucks that like it's such a iffy last season to end it on. I feel like Sana honestly deserved better. She definitely deserves a longer season, but definitely better. And I mean, it's hard because like the season was very discombobulated. I think it was just a issue of not knowing where the story was going, and then they kind of ran out of time before anyone really, like any of the fans were like, we love this storyline, you know? So I think that was one of the main issues. But at the same time, for me, when you say like the worst thing about a season, is that you want more of the main character. I mean, I think that shows that Sana was amazing. So yeah, if you've seen season 4, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down below in the comments. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and be on the lookout because I'm going to start reacting to season 1. I watched the first couple episodes, but I haven't watched the rest, so that should be out in a couple weeks probably. I still need time to like decompress from Skam. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave your thoughts about season 4 down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!